of Vietnam, broadcasting from Hanoi, capital of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam.
Welcome to the Voice of Vietnam. I'm Hung Nguyen. In today's program, after the news, Current Affairs will review the database project on population, personal identification, and electronic authentication for national digital transformation until 2025, with a vision to 2030. And then our weekly letterbox will acknowledge letters and emails of listeners and readers around the world. But first, here's the news.
In the news headlines, the Prime Minister urges for more effective international integration to boost sustainable national development. An Asian Month for victims of Agent Orange vaccine is launched. In multiple countries allows evacuation of citizens from Niger. Now the news in detail. President Võ Văn Thưởng praised Italian Ambassador Antonio Alessandro for his coordination with Vietnamese agencies to make the recent visit to Italy by a Vietnamese high-ranking delegation a success. At a Wednesday reception in Hanoi for outgoing Ambassador Antonio Alessandro, Mr. Thưởng said the visit was one of the highlights of the ambassador's successful term in Vietnam. Mr. Thưởng reiterated his invitation to Italian President Sergio Mattarella to visit Vietnam. Ambassador Alessandro said the visits to Italy by President Thưởng and a high-ranking delegation was the turning point for the relationship between the two countries. President Mattarella said he was impressed by the outcomes of the talks and meetings with President Thưởng in Italy and the dynamic development of Vietnam. At the farewell reception, President Thưởng presented the Vietnam Friendship Medal to Ambassador Alessandro. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính has stressed that international integration in the new period should closely follow and serve the national policy of building an independent, self-reliant economy in connection with active, practical and effective international integration. The Prime Minister made a statement on Wednesday at the first meeting of the Steering Committee for the project on reviewing the Party Politburo's Resolution 22 on international integration over the past 10 years. He said international integration should become an effective motivation to maintain a peaceful environment for rapid, sustainable development.
Realizing this resolution, we move to proactive, active, comprehensive, extensive and effective international integration in all fields: politics, national defense, security, culture, society, science, technology, education and training. Over the past 10 years, we have gained significant achievements. Our country's international status has risen, which enables us to mobilize more resources. Vietnam has signed 16 free trade agreements and is now negotiating another agreement. During the last 10 years, Vietnam upgraded relations with 7 countries to strategic partnership or comprehensive strategic partnership and 7 other countries to comprehensive partnership. Vietnam has comprehensive strategic partnerships with 33 countries.
Vietnam wishes to effectively and practically promote its strategic partnership with the Philippines, said Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính at a meeting with Filipino Foreign Secretary Enrique Manano in Hanoi on Wednesday. Prime Minister Chính asked the two sides to closely coordinate to ensure the progress of implementing targets set at the 10th meeting of the Joint Committee for Bilateral Cooperation. It's necessary to enhance delegation exchanges at all levels, promote economic and trade promotion, and create favorable business and investment environment for each other's enterprises. He emphasized the importance of defense security cooperation, especially maritime cooperation, and supported the early establishment of more legal frameworks for security cooperation. Foreign Secretary Manalo agreed with Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính proposal that the two countries should continue to strengthen consultation, support each other at regional and global organizations, and promote peaceful settlement of disputes in the sea in accordance with international law. The two sides also agreed to continue to support each other, maintain ASEAN's solidarity and central role in fully and effectively implementing the Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the EC, and speed up the negotiation of the Code of Conduct. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính on Wednesday praised HSBC Vietnam for expanding its investment in establishing strategic partnership with several Vietnamese companies. At a reception from Mark Tucker, chairman of the HSBC Group in Hanoi on Wednesday, the Prime Minister spoke highly of HSBC's commitment to arranging up to $12 billion of direct and indirect sustainable financing for Vietnam and the corporate sector in Vietnam by 2030. He expressed his hope for the HSBC would help Vietnam effectively use the grant and fulfill its commitments to climate change and sustainable development. An action month for victims of Agent Orange vaccine was launched in Hanoi on Tuesday as part of activities to mark 62 years of Agent Orange disaster in Vietnam. Addressing the event, Bùi Thị Minh Hoài, head of the party Central Committee's Commission for Mass Mobilization, said that over the years, the party and state have promulgated several guidelines and policies to overcome Agent Orange vaccine consequences and have sent millions of dollars to subsidize healthcare and rehabilitation for victims in affected areas.
Nhân dịp này, tôi trân trọng kêu gọi đồng bào chiến sĩ cả nước.
I'm calling on soldiers, people at home and abroad, and international organizations to take practical actions in response to our action month for Agent Orange vaccine victims to give the victims a better life. I hope organizations and individuals in Vietnam and around the world will continue to join efforts for peace and justice and to alleviate the pain of Agent Orange and prevent any more chemical warfare. And now the world news. Several European countries on Tuesday announced plans to evacuate their citizens from Niger due to our recent coup d'etat there. The first of 3 planes carrying mostly people returning from Niger to France, Italy, Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, or Denmark landed in Paris early Wednesday. But a pullout of France's 1,500 troops in Niger is not yet on the agenda. Earlier, Spain and Italy announced preparations to bring their citizens home. Germany urged its citizens in Niger to take a French evacuation flight home. The European Union said there are no plans to withdraw its staff working in Niger, but they will be repatriated if the need arises. The US also has no plans yet to evacuate its citizens from Niger. In related news, Nguyễn Viết Sơn, First Secretary in charge of Consular Affairs and Citizenship Protection of the Vietnamese Embassy in Algeria, told VOV that all Vietnamese in Niger are safe, and the embassy is actively implementing citizen protection work.
Và ngay sau khi sự việc xảy ra, Đại sứ quán đã cử cán bộ làm đầu mối, nắm tình hình và phối hợp với các cơ quan chức năng triển khai.
The embassy has closely followed the situation in Niger. Right after the incident, the embassy sent staff to monitor the situation and coordinate with relevant authorities to implement necessary measures to protect citizens. The embassy has contacted a number of Vietnamese citizens and people of Vietnamese origin in Niger's capital, Niamey, to confirm that the situation is stable and safe. No Vietnamese has been affected by recent events. Because Niger has been prolonged security challenges, the number of Vietnamese here is small, only about 30 people.
Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Amir-Abdollahian has proposed that Muslim states should downgrade or cut relations with Sweden and Denmark if sacrilegious acts against the Quran are repeated in the two Nordic countries. The Iranian top diplomat said he has suggested that the OIC send a delegation to Sweden and Denmark to discuss the issue and demanded the harshest punishment for those who insulted the Quran. Muslim countries should also sanction the imports of Swedish and Danish products if desecration of the Quran happens again in the two countries, Amir Abdollahian added. The same day, during a phone call from its Danish counterpart Lars Løkke Rasmussen, Saudi Arabia's Foreign Minister Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud demanded immediate measures to stop extremist acts that attempt to insult the Quran and offend Muslims around the world.
To end the news, here are the headlines once again. The Prime Minister urges for more effective international integration to boost sustainable national development. An action month for victims of Agent Orange dioxin is launched, and multiple countries announce evacuation of citizens from Niger. That's the news on BOV.